Hey guys, it's Taylor. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be telling my coming out story. I'm not really sure where to start or where this is gonna go or how this is gonna end, but I'm gonna do my best to kind of give you my story and my journey, and hopefully it's a good one. I don't really know where to start this. I can remember as early as elementary school and up into high school, definitely high school, there was a lot of gay rumors or gay stories or anything gay that anyone could pin my name to, they did. And that was before I'd ever thought about it, ever done anything, ever acted on it, ever told anyone. Like, there was no validity to those stories. And I think whatever I was feeling was definitely pushed down further because I was already being made fun of and isolated from my peers for something that I hadn't even done yet, something that I hadn't pursued. It wasn't until college that I really figured that out. So growing up, I had always dated and been with girls. I dated girls in high school. I dated a girl in college for over a year, and those were relationships that I really enjoyed being in, and I really did want to be in, and there was an attraction there, and those were real relationships, and those are all valid feelings that I had. And it wasn't until after I broke up with my girlfriend in college that I had ever started a relationship with a guy. And that was something very different to me, that was new, partially exciting, but also terrifying. In my mind, I thought to myself, I have seen so many, frankly, unhappy relationships in my life, in my family, and friends and everything, that if this is something that is going to make me happy, I would be stupid not to at least explore it. And that's kind of where it all started. But I always had this feeling that maybe there was that option there. My whole life, I think. I always felt like, I never really thought about it, but I felt like there was something different about me. And so when the opportunity presented itself, I realized that maybe that was the thing that was different. I came out in 2015, so 4 years ago. I came out to everyone around me, my friends, my family. Yeah, it was at first horrible. It was horrible for probably the first year of being out. Was pretty bad, just because of where I was and where I was going to school, who I had surrounded myself with up until that point. I started seeing a guy the end of my junior year that I thought was, worth being with. And I was very much in the closet. It was very much a secret, at least to my thought, a secret relationship that I was figuring out myself with. And I was, using this relationship to kind of figure out who I was, and if this is something I wanted, and if this was something that I wanted to explore. I'm not sure that's the best way I could have looked at it, but that's just how I was looking at it. With that guy, I was, like I said, very much in the closet, and he sort of gave me this ultimatum of come out or I can't do this. And at that time, that was the one person that I felt I could confide in and felt like understood me, and to be on the verge of losing that was heartbreaking. And so I, before I was ready, started to tell some friends, but in the meantime he was also telling everyone before I was okay with it. So everyone was finding out before I was ready. Everyone found out before I could have the chance to tell my very close friends and the people that I wanted to be able to tell myself. Everyone was finding out before I was ready because of this guy that I had been with. And that was really scary, because I was at a school in the South in a fraternity where being gay was not okay, period. It just wasn't welcome. It wasn't even really tolerated. It was frowned upon. And yeah, so I came out. I remember the first person I told was my friend Megan from home. And I texted her and I said, hey, I met someone They are really great. They make me really happy, selling this person to my friend. So that way she would fall in love with the person that I was telling her about, and then at the end I would be like, and it's a guy. And so that's how I came out the first time when I said it's a guy. I don't even think that I said I was gay. I think I was too afraid still to say that, but just that moment was really liberating to have that experience and to be able to be open with myself enough to tell someone else was great for me. It was like the biggest weight lifted off my shoulders, but also the scariest thing because the future was very daunting. I still had a whole nother year and a half at school where I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to play out. But I told her, and I slowly told a bunch of other people, and my very, very, very close friends were okay with it. I remember sitting in my fraternity house with 3 of my pledge brothers. One of my best friends in the house, he knew, and he was like, I think you should tell your other friends. And he was like, I'll go, let's go. I'll go with you. I'll sit with you. And I sat down and I could barely get it out. I just started like bawling, crying, and it was really like a super emotional thing for me to tell my pledge brothers that I was gay. And I think everyone knew, but it's still like, until I can say it, until I can tell you, I didn't feel like it was real. I remember one of my pledge brothers, I told them I was gay, and we started chatting. And one of them was like, I don't even know a gay person. I've never met a gay person. I don't know anything about the gay community or gay people. Where I was at school, everyone thought that gay people had to be super flamboyant or feminine or drag queens or the most extreme thing that they could be. They thought that was gay, like that was all gay was. And so they thought that I had been lying about who I was for the past 3 years because I wasn't this super flamboyant gay person. That is something I also struggled with, because when I came out, I never felt like there was someone that represented me in gay media. I never felt like there was someone like me that I could look up to and that could be a role model for me on this journey of coming out and being a gay man. And that was something really hard for me because I didn't know how I was feeling, but it made it even worse. I couldn't talk to or look up to anyone else to see how they did it, what they went through, someone that was like me. It wasn't really until I had a friend text me and said, hey, did you see the cover of ESPN magazine? Gus Kenworthy is gay. And I was like, who is Gus Kenworthy? I looked up the magazine and I saw Gus. For the first time, I felt like that was someone who represented me and the type of person I was, someone that was masculine, who played sports. At the time, like that is what I needed to see. For the first time, I found someone that I could look up to and aspire to be. And so I struggled a lot with that just because I felt like there was no representation, and then being kind of pushed out of the closet, having to come out before I was ready was pretty scary too. But the worst part was I was going through my hard drive yesterday, looking at photos from that year of college, and just like kind of looking back and remembering those times so I could talk a little bit more about them. And I have so many screenshots of text message conversations of people texting me being like, hey, I can't like hang out with you anymore. I can't be around you, or my friends aren't talking to me because I'm still friends with you. And there were a lot of those, and I remember getting a lot of those, and my response to those texts at the time were totally different than what they would be now. I totally was made to feel like I had to apologize for being who I was because someone didn't want to be friends with a gay person. So my response to those texts were, I'm so sorry, you don't have to be my friend anymore. I understand. I don't want to come between you and your friends. And that's really sad because I never should have had to feel like I had to apologize for who I was or how I was feeling, especially at that time, like just coming out. Like I needed friends to be there for me. I needed someone to support me and to be there. And that just didn't happen for me. And even when I came out, what made it so scary about coming out when I did, where I did, how I did, was there was no gay community where I was. There was no end goal of coming out and being like, oh, I can finally hang out with my gay friends or go to the gay bar or do anything that would make me feel like there was a sense of community for me. That wasn't there. So when I came out, not only did I lose a lot of friends and people didn't want to be seen with me or talk to me or be a part of my life, but I didn't have anyone to go to. I didn't have a new group of friends that I could be friends with. I didn't have a new circle of friends that were like this new gay friend group that I wish I would have had. So I came out, I was alienated by my friends, some of my closest friends who I still haven't talked to this day, and I didn't have anyone else to talk to. That was terrible. And how could you be my best friend one day and I tell you this big secret of mine, and then 5 seconds later, you want nothing to do with me. I'm still the same person. I'm still your friend. I'm still the person that you have all of those memories with. But the moment you find out that I'm gay, you want nothing to do with me. And that was like something really hard for me to deal with. The first relationship that I had, the first relationship with a guy that I had ended. And I had moved on, and I was dealing with figuring myself out and learning about myself. And that summer before my senior year, I moved back home for an internship, and at this point, I still hadn't told my parents, but I started seeing somebody else. I started seeing someone who lived out of town, who I had met via Instagram, and started for the first time, what felt like a real relationship and something that I could see myself living happily as a gay man. And that was great. That was something that I dealt with. It was, something that was exciting to me to be able to feel. So I went back to school for my senior year. Everyone was kind of like, the people that stopped talking to me had continued to stop talking to me, and the people that were still there for me were still there for me. And at this point, I had some time to grow, and I had time to realize I didn't really need those people in my life who weren't supportive or didn't want to be associated with me. And so I kind of started living more true to myself and doing what I wanted to do and hanging out with who I wanted to hang out with, doing whatever it is that made me happy. I did that instead of worrying about, trying to make these people who used to be my friends happy. I had been dating my boyfriend at the time for about 6 months before I called my mom and told her. I was at school. I went to school 6 hours away from home, so I couldn't just drive home and tell my mom that I was gay. So I called her one day and I got her on the phone. I did the same thing with her. I said, hey, I've been dating someone. They are really great. They make me really happy. And I'm happy. And she said, okay, what's her name? Where is she from? What does she do? Tell me about her. And I said, well, it's a guy. And she said, okay. And it was quiet for a bit. And she said, that's cool. And I started crying on the phone, and she stopped me from crying. She said, hey, listen to me. You be yourself, and you she said that there was no paved way to success or happiness, and that I was doing exactly what I should be doing and doing whatever made me happy. And I don't know, I feel like at that point, that's when I really felt finally relieved. My whole family knew, everyone around me knew. I felt free, and at that point it was like the most liberating thing that I had ever felt before I finally felt like I could breathe or live or do what I wanted. After I graduated, I moved to Chicago. I was finally in a place where there were gay people, there were gay bars, there were things that I could do and people that I could meet and find people like me and people that I wanted to be friends with who knew what I was going through or knew what it was like to be gay. And that's not something that I had ever had before. I finally felt okay. Fast forward to now, I mean, my life is a complete 180 from when I first came out. I live in New York City. I have friends. I have the most incredible group of friends. I have people around me every day that inspire me, that encourage me, that keep me going and keep me happy and support me no matter what I do. And that is something I never thought was possible. I never thought that I would find people like me or that I got along with in the gay community or anything. And like when I first came out, I never imagined that I would be going to drag shows every week or wearing wigs, dancing around the house with my friends or anything. And that's not because that's something I didn't want to do or I frowned upon. It's that I never imagined myself to be comfortable enough to do things that other people might not agree with. I'm so happy that I've moved past that, because some of the most fun, most amazing, life-changing moments for me have been because I wasn't afraid of what other people were going to say or do or how they were going to act. The past 2.5 years have been incredible, and it's been such a journey, and it has been such a process. And I mean, every day, every time you meet someone new, it's a coming out, unless you know you're at a gay bar and people are going to assume you're gay, and then it's not. But you know, still, when I meet people, new people, straight people, that girls ask me if I have a girlfriend or whatever it is, like it's still a coming out, and every time it's still scary, but it gets easier. And I finally feel like I'm at a place in my life that I'm like very comfortable with who I am and very happy with where my life is and where I'm going and what I'm contributing to the world. And it's been such a journey, and every day I learn a little bit more about myself, and I just become a more free version of myself every day. And to me, being gay is the most special thing, because I made it through. I'm here. I'm living life I'm living a great, happy life as a gay man, and an amazing relationship with amazing people around me, and I am accomplishing everything I'm setting out to accomplish, and I'm doing that as a gay man. And that is something that I never thought I would do, and I just I'm so thankful and grateful and so happy. And yeah, coming out was really the start of all of that. If I could give any advice to my former self, it would probably be not to apologize for who you are. Don't ever feel like you have to apologize for being your true self, being happy and honest and open with who you are. Because that's something that I did. I apologized a lot to friends for putting them through the pain of having to know a gay person, the pain of having to be criticized for being friends with a gay person. I apologized to them because they had to go through that because of me. And that is never something I should have done. That is not the way that I should have felt. I should have never had to apologize for being myself, and that's something I did. That if I could give advice to myself 4 or 5 years ago, it's to own it, to be yourself. And if people don't want to be your friend or people don't want to be around you, then screw them, because that's their loss, and they're the ones missing out, because you're great. And the last thing I'll say is, there is no set way that you should come out or have to come out, or when you have to come out, or when you should come out, or whatever. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone will have a different experience. Everyone will have different reactions. Everyone will feel a different way about it. But as long as you are ready and you know when your time is to come out, that's all that matters. Don't wait on anyone else. Don't let anyone else force you. Don't let anyone else play a role in this unless you're ready, and then do it. And you'll figure it out. Everything will work out. And just know that it gets better, and it gets so much better.